Hey everybody, welcome to 360's Get to Know 360. This is our very first Spreecast and we're really glad that you're joining us. My name is Tim Bush, I work for 360, and over here, out of the screenshot, you can't, actually, it's backwards on the screen, so over here, this is really weird, is Jamie Robinson, and she's the producer, and so once in a while you may see me look over at her because she's going to be keeping me in line tonight and make sure that I stay on topic because I have a tendency to drift. We're going to talk about a couple of things today. First of all, we're going to talk about Spreecast. So I don't know whether you've ever been on a Spreecast before or used Spreecast, but we're going to give you a couple of pointers so that you can navigate around the screen and you can get up on screen if you want to. But definitely you'll be able to ask a question. We're going to talk about Get to Know. In the series that we're going to do, we're going to be doing one of these a month, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about 360 as a company and as a product. We have a great demo for you. I don't know if you can see all this. There you go, look at that over there. We have great ingredients down here. We're going to be making omelets tonight, so we have a great demo planned for you. And then at the end of the show, you definitely want to stay till the end because we have a great offer on some products, and that's going to come at the very end, so don't go anywhere. And for those of you who are on the West Coast, we know we're not telling anybody because we know it's only 3 o'clock there. So maybe you're at work and you're hunkered down looking at the Spreecast. So we're going to try to get this done as quickly as possible so you guys can get back to whatever it is you were doing. So first, oh, and by the way, I do have one statement to give you, and I do have one confession to make, and I'm going to do those now. So the statement is, this is absolutely live. Okay, this is not delayed. In any way. If I could show you my watch right there, it says 6:05, so Eastern time. So it's live. Anything can happen, and I'm sure anything is going to happen if it's live. Secondly, the confession tonight is I'm not actually a chef. I work for 360. I'm the vice president of sales. But that's not to say that I don't like to cook, but I don't make my living as a chef. But I do get to wear this cool chef jacket. So I'm very happy about that. And I'm going to do my best to introduce you to my favorite Southwest omelet today. So first, let's kick it off with Spreecast. As you know, as you can see, you logged on. Spreecast is an interactive webinar type program. It's better than your average webinar if you've ever been on a webinar because there's unlimited amount of people that can actually join. And some people, if requested, can actually, if you have a camera on you, you can actually come up onto screen and ask a question. That way I can see you. And, well, you can already see me, but that way I'll be able to see you and we can actually chat live. Because if you have a question, most likely everybody's asking themselves that same question. So speaking of questions, am I pointing at it, Jamie?
That's the camera button.
Yeah, so we have a camera button. That's where you request to go on camera. And then right next to that, there's another blue button that says that you have a question. This is different than over in the chat area. You can actually ask a question. Jamie will put that question up on the screen. And that way I'll be able to see it, and then I can answer that question for everybody. If you have a question that you just want to keep off screen, you just have a quick question, you can always do that over in the chat area. And Jamie will answer that. She just told me to slow it down. I'm pumped up and I'm really anxious to be here, so I'm going to bring it down a little. All right, so that's Spreecast. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them or use the chat. We also have some folks from Spreecast on here. They'll be chiming in if you're having trouble hearing or if you're having trouble seeing. You can always type that in and they will assist you. So Get to Know 360, and why are we having a Get to Know 360 series? Why are we doing it live? A couple of reasons. One, we want to introduce everybody to the best American-made cookware on the market, bar none. Okay, this is not what you're used to. This is not the same type of cookware that you've cooked on all your life. It is American-made, top-quality, waterless, greaseless cookware. And so we want everybody to know that. And then secondly, of all those people that do have 360, we get a ton of questions constantly coming in to our inbox every day. People have questions. How do you cook eggs? How do you do this? What temperature should I cook this at? So this is really your show. We are going to take your suggestions, take all the questions, combine them together and find out really what it is you want to know. And that's what we're going to do a show about. We already have all 12 shows scheduled out for the whole year. If you want to know when the next show is, there's a link on our website, and Jamie will put that up later, that you can just click right on that or write it down, and then you can go straight to 360cookware.com and find the list of all the different shows. and what we're going to be talking about for those shows. And we hope that you'll join us for the whole series throughout the year. All right, let's talk about 360. 360 is a culmination of a lot of years of cookware making. The Hurleys, Brian Hurley and his wife Beth, own both the Americraft Cookware factory that makes our product in West Bend, Wisconsin, and the brand 360 Cookware. They have years and years of cookware experience. And just to give you a little bit of background about West Bend used to be, and I'm not the expert here, so Brian, I'm sorry if I get it, if I don't say it exactly how you might have said it, but I'm going to give it my best shot. 360 Cookware and Americraft Cookware were born in West Bend, Wisconsin. Okay, and they were born out of the passion that Brian has for cookware. He's been either in the cookware business or watching his dad sell cookware since he was 2 years old. And when the West Bend company and companies like Regal decided to take their operations offshore, so they didn't want to make cookware in America anymore, they wanted to take it offshore, what happened was a lot of those experienced craftsmen, people that had made cookware for years, were let go. And so there they were, they didn't have any work, and Brian decided, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to single-handedly bring the cookware business back to West Bend. He built a factory, state-of-the-art, green factory. I'll talk about the green aspect of it in a second, in West Bend, and then we hired back all those experienced craftsmen. So we have the benefit of having a state-of-the-art, brand new, well, it's going to be celebrating its 10-year anniversary, so it has some years under it, but that's still considered brand new, factory with people making cookware that have been making it for years. Okay, and let me tell you, when you're running these big presses and you're pressing out cookware, experience counts. And that's why you get the same quality pan every single time, no exceptions. All right, so that's our plant. That's our, so let's talk about the green aspect for a minute. Our plant is run completely off of wind power. And we've done that over the course of years. So we're completely dependent on wind power. We just received a commendation from the EPA. No cookware companies out there, factories, receiving anything from the EPA except perhaps sanctions. But we actually have a commendation from them based on our sustainability. What makes us a little bit different, or a lot different, is the way we produce our stainless steel cookware. One, if you notice, to get this great shine finish here, most companies have to use some pretty nasty chemicals. The people that do it have to wear a mask. They have to have ventilators. They don't ever let anybody back there to see how they do it. It's just not a very environmentally friendly process. We have a dry sanding process. That's how we get our finish. That's how we get our shine. The harshest chemical we use to make our product, I don't know, maybe a little bit less harsh than the soap you use to clean your dishes at home. That's it. And then we filter the water on its way out the plant, so it's cleaner on the way out than it ever was on the way in. And the benefit to you of that dry sanding process is it creates a finer finish on the pan, and it allows food to release from it. Now, there's a difference between nonstick and food releasing, and I'm going to show you that, because I know what you're saying. He's going to cook an omelet in a stainless steel pan. That's just going to be a mess, right? I know you're thinking that, but I'm going to show you different. So there you have 360. We have a full line of cookware, and whenever I'm talking to anybody about 360 cookware, and we're not going to talk too much about vapor cooking tonight because you'll see this is a fry pan, we don't have a lid, but whenever anybody asks me about the cookware, or maybe I'm doing a demonstration or I'm talking to a retailer, I kind of explain it like this. 360 cookware is like a superhero cookware, okay? So it has superpowers that it doesn't have to use all the time. So part of the time it's Clark Kent. It can be used just like any other cookware on the market. You can use it to saute, you can throw grease in there, whatever you want to do. You don't have to learn new cooking. It performs unbelievable, just like any other cookware. But when you need it, the superpowers are there, and vapor cooking is one of those. And again, we're not going to use that tonight, but you should stay tuned to future programs, because we will show you how to cook vapor and healthier, and use vapor technology to get the best tasting vegetables and food that you can get. I'm not preheating yet, but good point. See, that's why Jamie's there, because here I'm just rolling. And so I'm going to preheat just a little bit. Okay, this is a protein. Here's my eggs right here. I already beat them up. Anytime you have a protein, you're going to want to preheat your pan. And the best way to test it is you throw a little bit of water on it, and when the water dances around like a bubble, it just zips back and forth, you know that the pan is hot enough. But tonight, we do have to use a little bit of oil because it is eggs. Eggs don't have any oil on their own. So this is one of the only things that you're going to have to use a little bit of oil on. And I'll show you how to tell when the pan is hot enough with the oil in it. All right, so we've done 360, we've done the company, we've done the pan. I know you guys are excited to get into the demo, and good thing that Jamie asked me to preheat because I was getting there.
While you're doing that, you mentioned paper cooking, we had a question.
Oh, we have a question. Awesome.
She wanted to know, she says she has a 3.5 quart saute, which of course has the lid.
Okay.
The difference between that and the fry pan that we're using.
Okay, so the 3.5 quart saute pan, and I kind of call that the workhorse of anyone's kitchen. It's the most used pan, bar none, because it can be used for so many things. Big difference here is that pan comes with a lid and has the ability to use vapor technology. And you'll notice on your 3.5 quart saute, the sides of it kind of, when it comes up, the sides go down, and the lid sits down inside instead of on the top, and that allows the the bottoms up, top down, sides in cooking, and then that allows the vapor to release from the top of the lid, and when you spin it, it drags that water seal all around and you can reduce your heat. That's what creates a vapor cooking. Now I know some of you've never seen 360 cookware before. I know I'm kind of speaking a little bit of foreign language, but hopefully that answered your question. Because you have the lid, because it's a waterless piece of cookware, that's the main difference. So if you're wanting to cook chicken, fish, vegetables, a combination of fish and vegetables, chicken and vegetables, that's what you would use to cook that. If you're wanting to saute, you're wanting to use some oil, maybe saute some vegetables to put, I don't know, in an omelet, you would use the fry pan. Did that answer? Good. So now you can see the oil. I don't know if the camera shows that good enough, but the oil is running around pretty freely now. You want to make sure that you get it all the way up to the edges before you put your eggs in, and you want to make sure it's covered the entire pan before you do that. So we're pretty good right now. So what I'm going to do, here's the eggs. You can see those. I've already beat them. This is a 2-egg omelet. This is when I cook an omelet every Sunday for my wife. I always do a 2-egg omelet. This is the perfect pan for it. Because it's not too big, and so sometimes your omelets get too thick and they're difficult to fold over and they crack. So we're going to put that in there. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's sizzling just a little bit. Now, because my burner here is sloped a little bit, I'm going to have to bring this back and let it collect up back there. So we're going to let that go for a minute. What you're going to start to see happen here is it'll bubble a little bit, and that's completely okay. But eventually, it's going to start to pull away from the edges. And that's really where the magic happens. Now, that's where the magic happens, and because this is a live broadcast, that's where everything can go terribly wrong. But that's not going to happen tonight. Everything's going to go good. And I'm not talking about the egg, I'm talking about when I flip it. Generally, I go to the sink to flip my eggs only because, I don't know, I want them to go everywhere. But I use a foldable bendy spatula, and I'll show you why in a second, because when the omelet starts to pull away from the pan, I kind of stick it down in the pan, like, I'm going to burn my hand here, like that, and bend it around the sides of it. So you'll see how that works in just a second. You're also going to get to see what's great about cooking on stainless steel when you're cooking omelets is it's going to brown the egg differently than you've ever been able to brown it in a nonstick pan. And the taste is going to be different. Get ready for a better tasting omelet. I'm just saying, get ready for that because it's going to taste a lot better. All right.
Actually,
yes.
John wants to know if the pan can be used on induction.
Great question, John. Now, originally I had an induction unit here, and I'm going to talk while I do this because you're going to want to watch this. See how I'm just scraping around the edge. It's not really even necessary, and boom! Look at that. You see that? Are you guys seeing that? Look at that move around like that. So I'm going to flip this, and this is where everything could go. And if it does, I'm just going to run away. Here we go. Oh. Oh. Hello. All right, do you guys see the browning there? That's something you're not going to get on nonstick. So, John, the question was? Oh, yeah, induction. I had an induction plate here. The reason I didn't use it is because every time I lifted the pan off of it, the induction plate would turn off. And it made this big beeping sound, and it was kind of annoying. So the answer is yes. All of our products, all of our pans are good on induction. And I would have used one here, but it kept shutting off when I would pull the pan up. So that's why we're not doing it. There you have it. Look at that. That looks so great. Now, I'm going to turn this down just a little bit more. Now that we've gotten that first, it's not going to have to cook too long on the other side. I'm going to flip it one more time, and that's when I'm going to add my ingredients to it. And while it's cooking, I'm going to tell you what we have. We have scallions. Those look beautiful. We have some tomatoes. Awesome. We have a little bit of cilantro for the top. And we have cheese. And then over here, I have black bean and corn salsa. That's what makes it Southwest. All right. One more time. Beautiful. All right, so the first thing I do when to start this is I'm going to go ahead and turn this almost all the way down, is I put some salsa on it. This is just me. You don't have to do it like I do it, but this is kind of how. And I'll get it all the way over to the edges. You can put as much or as little salsa as you want. This is, we're not allowed to talk brand, right? So this is black bean and corn salsa. Any brand. It's every brand. All right. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some cheese on here. And I'm also going to put that all over. Now, I don't need to have the cheese fully melt to be done, but it'll melt pretty quickly. Kiki is in the other room, and I know she's looking at this and she's saying to herself, I have first dibs on that omelet when it's all done. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in some, I just burned myself, it's all right. Goes with the territory. I'm going to put in some tomatoes. We're going to put in some chives, scallions, sorry. For yours is mouthwatering. Do you ever have breakfast for dinner? My daughter loves to have breakfast for dinner. So when she comes home from school, I ask her, hey, do you want to have breakfast for dinner? Yeah, I do. What's that?
Is that her voice?
Exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly how she says it. All right. So there you have it. There's the Southwest omelet. Can you see? That's looking amazing. And all you have left to do is plate it. So I'm going to hold this up the way I just get it over to the edge. And of course, one thing had to happen, right? So there you go. And then what I'll do, my wife likes avocado, but I'll also put some cilantro on the top. So avocado always goes good on the top of that. There you are, Kiki. That's your omelet that you get to have. Now, I want to, what's that? What? Oh, well, I can't put it under that. I can't. There you have it. That looks scrumptious, I know. Now, this is the biggest deal, folks. There you have it. I know you thought you were going to have to scrub the egg off the bottom of that pan, but no. That's the dry sanding. That's that's what we call when the product releases completely from the pan. This is what you get left over. Now, the first thing that really freaked me out about 360 cookware was the cleaning aspect. And I am going to say this, and I'll probably get in trouble later, but I do have a full set of all-clad pans. And the one thing I absolutely hated was cleaning them because it was just, it took forever. In fact, my wife would leave them for me to clean. And that when I cleaned 360 pans for the first time, and the stuff just literally came right off, and there was no struggle, there was no scrubbing. To me, it was a miracle. I told Brian about that. I said, wow, that's a miracle. Do people know about this? Now you guys know. That's what we have. Any questions? Any questions on the omelet? So we have the omelet.
Responses.
What's that?
Outside of yes, it looks fantastic, but Emily says she can't believe how clean it is.
I know, right?
Ashra wants to know if the omelet is for sale as well.
Yes, come down to Central Florida, and I will make you one personally. I was so happy to hear somebody wanted to buy the omelet that now I lost my train of thought. But just to remind you, so when you're making an omelet, preheat the pan, put the oil in it. When the oil moves around very easily, and I'm not talking it takes a long time to move to the other end of the pan, I'm talking that it moves quickly. That's when you know. Make sure that all the pan is covered with the oil, including the sides. That's when you put your eggs in. Now, a lot of people want to whip their eggs up into a huge frenzy, get it all frothy, put some milk in there. I don't do that. I just put 2 eggs in there. I beat them just a little bit to break up the yolks, and and then I throw it into the pan. It's not going to be long if your pan is correctly heated before you see the sides of the omelet pulling in. And when you see that, that's when you take your bendy spatula, you just simply run it around the edge. Now, sometimes it may be stuck to the pan just a little bit in the middle, so you just slide it into that, and your omelet will just slide around the pan just like it did for me. Now, don't worry if you flip it that first time and it doesn't all the way flip over. Just keep moving it. Don't let it stay there, and then smooth it out with your spatula, and it's going to be fine. And then only a couple, maybe a minute on that side before you flip it back and start to put, and again, for the Southwest, black bean and corn salsa on the bottom, cheese, and then you can put your ingredients. Now, my wife likes fresh, just fresh vegetables in her omelet. Me personally, I always saute my vegetables on the side so I can have mushrooms and tomatoes and the like. So that's really a preference for you, how you lay in your ingredients afterwards. But, and then, like I said, a little cilantro on the top with maybe some avocado, and there you go. But once again, I am going to ask you to notice one thing. It's this browning right here on the omelet. That's 360. Okay, that's what you get when you cook in this. This will be the best tasting omelet you have, and I'll be anxious to hear. Oops, I'll be anxious to hear how it goes for you.
We had, not to interrupt you, 3 questions about how much oil.
Good question. I guesstimated, but it's about 2 tablespoons. Those were all 3 questions for the same thing. A couple tablespoons of oil, and it also depends on how big your pan is. One of the things I missed talking about, and I want to make sure that I mention it when I'm talking about 360 and how it's made, and one of the main differences, so I'm going to digress just a little bit. Now that your mouth is all watering, we're going to get back to the business of things. One of the things that is key in cookware and in the making of cookware is gauge, and that's how thick the pan is. Now we have a cladded metal pan, which means it has T304 stainless steel on top and on the bottom, and it has the heat conducting aluminum inside. Now the gauge is the thickness. So if you can see how thick it is right here, that's a 110 gauge, and it's the same thickness all the way from the bottom all the way to the lip. So it doesn't thin out. Go pick up a piece of cookware in the store, Bed Bath & Beyond, wherever. You're going to see noticeably that it's heavier on the bottom and then it thins out at the top. The problem with that is that you jeopardize even cooking. Okay, that means, especially if you have a pan with a lid on it, that it will be cooler at the top of the pan than it will be at the very bottom, and that's why you have to cook your food so long. I think that you noticed how long it took me to cook this omelet. In fact, it went a lot quicker than I actually thought it would, but that's because it has even heating all the way around the pan. If I cooked the omelet on the edge of the pan, it would be the same. It's all the same temperature. So I wanted to make sure I got that in and mention that. We have 3 different fry pans. We have the 7-inch, the 8.5-inch. This is what I call the omelet pan because that's what I used here. To me, it's the perfect size for omelets, but if you want a smaller omelet, you can always use the 7-inch. And then we have the big 11.5-inch fry pan. This one has the extra handle on here, an extra stay cool handle. So if it gets too heavy, you can pull it off with both hands. All of our pans are oven safe, dishwasher safe. They all, like I said, clean up incredibly well. We're doing good.
Another question.
Yes. Great job with the questions, guys.
John wants to know if you remember, and I don't know if you remember the setting for the induction. Part of the music.
Oh, what setting I used? Is 2. I kind of adjusted it. It's the first time I had used that burner, so I kind of adjusted it between 2 and 3. I think I started on 3, but I had to adjust it down because it was heated up too fast.
And what type of oil?
Olive oil. Okay. I've tried a couple of different oils, and olive oil works the best. sorry, so what kind of oil was the best was one of the questions, and what was the setting on the induction burner when I did it before was the other question. So setting was, I started at 3 and moved it down to 2. And the other question was, what type of oil did I use? And I used olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and I've tried several different types of oil, and that works the best.
Large fry pan cooking paella. Asking if that would be a good idea.
You can cook paella in that. We do actually have a 4.5 quart saute pan with a lid that we actually call the paella pan. We have a screencast coming up on that pan specifically, so check the website, and so you can see when that comes in. You could probably cook paella in the 11.5 quart, but look for the 4.5 quart saute pan. That's going to be your better pan for that.
And the link for future screencasts up on the screen.
Okay, the link for future Spreecast right there on your, you can see that on there. So you can go ahead and write that down, make note of that all the way through the end of the year. We have them all scheduled out, and we hope to see you on each one of those. Now, I did promise you an offer, and I have the code right here. So if you can grab a pen or a pencil, so that you can write this down, and then Jamie's also going to put it up on the screen. Now, we did one thing specifically for this, and it's the first time we've ever done it. It's a great offer. We put together a 3-pan set of our fry pans. So all 3 fry pans, if you were to buy them separately on our site, is about $309. And so you can buy all 3 pieces in one set for $249. Now, I know you think that's a great deal, but tonight through midnight Pacific time, so 3 a.m. Eastern, and tonight only, you can actually get 15% off of that $249 if you want to buy all 3 as one set. Okay, and the set code for that is, really? I haven't seen the code yet. It is Fry Me Midnight. You're not going to easily forget that. Fry Me Midnight, and I think Jamie just put that up on the screen. I should have looked at this before, because otherwise now I'm laughing. Okay. So let's say that you already have one of the fry pans and you want just to get maybe the 8 or the 7 or the 11.5 and you only need one. We are having a 48-hour 15% off sale, so you don't have to get there by midnight tonight if you're just wanting one. And so you have 48 hours to go in and use this code. I bet you can guess it. It's FryMe48. And Jamie just put that on the screen. So if you're just wanting one pan, use the FryMe48. It's good for 48 hours. If you want to get the set, which is an incredible deal, you won't be sorry. Lifetime warranty, by the way. That's Fry Me Midnight. And we could all have Fry Me Midnight. We could have fun with that. So Fry Me Midnight, Fry Me 48. Please try this, 360cookware.com. Also, any comments that you want to make, any suggestions that you have, anything that you would like to see in one of these, please be vocal and let us know, because we're going to constantly change it. This is your Spreecast. It's built off of the questions that we get from you. I guess that's really all we have for you tonight, unless there's any other questions. Keep them coming. We will stay on as long as you want to ask questions. Questions?
Beth Hurley says, wants everybody to know that we're doing a month.
Beth Hurley, who, by the way, is the owner of 360 Cookware, wants everybody to know this is monthly, and you'll see that when you go to that link, you'll see each month they're all, like I said, dated out. I think the only month that we're not going to do it is in the month of December, right? November and December. So February all the way through October. And those are on the website. Thanks, Beth.
John says, great job, chef.
Thanks, John.
And give Kiki that great looking arm.
I will. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And again, let us know how we did and what you'd like to see next time. And then we'll see you next time on the 360 Get to Know Spreecast.